Introduction, if it's going to work.
Right.
No, it doesn't work.
Huh.
Yeah. So, I work at Kuska, as you already probably know, and I am a backend software engineer. And as a Peter works in search team, I work in booking team. So, once you click on the booking page and you see all the data there, that's my job. So, let's start. So before I start to talk about coala, we need to get on the same page. So, do you know what's linter? Do you use linters? I guess so. It's very basic stuff. So I prepare some explanation what linter is for people who don't know. So linter is awesome helper to catch and avoid little bugs which may cause big problems. And also, it's a great tool to control people, especially when you are working in an environment with many people and you want to keep your code base consistent. So, now we know what linter is, and we can go to coala. Maybe not. Okay, Okay, so what's coala? I mean, I took the description from the website because it's a really good description for coala. So coala provides a unified command line interface for linting and fixing all your code, regardless of the programming language you use. What does it mean? There are some bold words there which are really important, and I will explain them more later. So let's see. You may ask, you know that it's for linting, but why? Why coala? There is already so many linters. Could you name some linters for Python? For example, pylint, right, or pyflex. So there is already so many tools. So why would you use coala? So why coala? Exactly. So many languages, so many tools, so many installations, and so many setups, and there comes coala. Coala aims to unify all the API for all the linters. So just imagine that you could run one command to check all your code with any linter available. And you didn't even have to worry about the linters. You just run one command and all the linters would be run at one time. So that's what coala does. So this is very graphical description because picture is word of, I don't know, 100 words, maybe more, I don't know. So basically on the left side you have all the linters, whatever linter you want. In the middle there's coala, and coala just has all those linters, and you take your code, you stuff it into coala, and coala will spit out any information to your terminal, or maybe a continuous integration tool if you use some. If you don't, you should. And also maybe some editor of your choice. So if you use PyCharm, Vim, or Emacs, you should switch to Vim, but that's not my problem.
Why not PyCharm?
Because it's big, slow, and whatever.
We'll discuss it a little bit.
So, but coala by itself is only the API, the core tool, which provides functionality to create your linters, or maybe to reuse already existing. And so the coala provides modules, and the modules are called pairs. And there are pairs already created for many languages. And yeah, of course, coala is written in Python, so there are already linters in Python, there are linters in R, there are linters in Java, Haskell, Go, whatever language you can imagine, there is a linter for it. So you may ask, how many languages are supported? Let's see, too many. It's probably over 42, maybe it's 60, I don't know. Definitely over 22, too many. I mean, I don't even know any of those languages. Yeah, maybe some of them, half of them, maybe, but yeah, those really exist. So what's next? Surprise. Maybe nothing. Yeah, live demo. Let's invade coala. So this is going to be a little bit hard because I will switch to like to keyboard and microphones. I'm sorry. I hope you can see, like everyone can see the terminal. Okay. So I have prepared some files to check with Koala. So I will start just by. Oh, great. Thank you very much, sir. So let's see. Let's run Koala. It shouldn't do this because I was. Yeah. Let's run again. Okay, so we see very helpful information from Koala, which means like Koala doesn't know which files to check and which pairs, as I said, the modules to run. So let's see the help for Koala. Yeah, this is like very good description of the like what you are supposed to do. There are like examples how to use Koala. And as I said, there is like too many bears already available. So I guess I will show you some of the bears, or I mean all of them. So see, so those are all the bears available. I think it's about 100 of them, and we can also filter by language. Can you see how I'm using this without using the like help of Koala? It's not because I remember it. It's really well written, and it's really easy to guess like what to use. It would be a shame if it didn't work now, right? So yeah, those are Python bears. I mean, you can see a lot of bears here. I probably even don't know them, like all of them. Like, what the hell is, for example, radon beer? Like, what it could be? Does anybody knows what's radon?
Radon.
Yeah, I thought so. Radon. What I've done? This is the problem with live demos, right? Okay, let's see what I got wrong. Yeah. Too small. Okay. Is it better? Okay. Thank you. So. Yeah, it works. Okay, so uses radon to compute complexity of given file. Okay, I still have no idea what is it, but at least I have some description, right? So what now? Let's see. Yeah, I show you description. Yeah, it's time to run Koala. Yeah. We could run, I guess, line length pair. It's the like most annoying one. Like, what's your favorite length of line? 80. No man, that's like from 1990. Come on, it's already 2010 plus.
It's not a default value.
Yeah, but it's not really good one. Okay. So line length. Yeah, there. Files. Yep. Okay. This is how Koala works. You will run Koala on your file, and it will just highlight the stuff which are wrong. And you can also run it in non-interactive mode, which will be better for our case. Yeah, to see. have so many lines, like longer than 80, which is like, it's common. Nobody should use 80. Okay, we saw that. What else is here? Yeah, I mean, I told you at the end of the presentation that it can lint your code, and also it can fix your code. So, the classic bear is, I think, the pet 8 bear. And so, let's see, what does it mean? So, you can see that the bear automatically generated patch to fix your code. So we can do, what you can do, yeah, you can do nothing, or you can apply the patch. Yeah. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. So, as you can see, coala can also fix your code. And you can also, of course, use, when you use, I think you use a switch, it will automatically apply all the patches, so you don't have to click through them. Yeah, so you can see in the info that all the patches were applied. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Thank you. So we embrace coala. What's next? Yeah, config files. Yeah, I think I will go back to the demo thingy. So just before I describe how configuration files works at coala. So you have 3 levels of configure files. The first one is a global wide. It's a global wide configure file is within the coala itself, and it's probably blank. The next one is the user-wide. It obviously lies in the user space in your home directory, and is the coarc file. And also you can have per project configuration file, and that lies within your project as a .car file. I mean, you can name the configuration files as you wish, but then you will have to let coala know which configuration file to use. So, I mean, unless you need more configuration files, it's better to stick with the defaults. So now I will show you how configuration file looks like. And the thing I didn't told you was that there are so many linters, and they share like very common functionality. Like for example, you're programming in an R language and you want to check your line length, you have to install the linter for R. And also in any other language. But this is the thing that could be done by one tool, right? Like, there are no difference in lines between the languages, or at least I hope there isn't any. So, the thing that coala provides is that you can have, like, you can configure the default section for any language, and there you can specify, like, what should be the length of the line, if you should use spaces or depths. But you always should use spaces unless you do makefile. Yeah, and things like that. So I will show you the configuration file. Thank you, my assistant.
You're welcome.
I don't know who he is, but Grigory Petrov is his assistant.
Infamous joke.
I need to find where I put my coala file configure file. So give me a moment. It's not there. It's not there. It's nowhere. Actually. Okay, I think I know what I will going to do. Yeah, I will show you our configuration file, like of the booking team. Now it's all secrets and you see it. So, I will stand again. Thank you very much. So, what you can see, yes, this is the default section, and default section applies to any bears. Like, first one, it specifies like which files should all of the bears be run on, and the second one, obviously, it specifies like which files to ignore. What do we ignore? Talks, env, venv, yeah, many people, like many folders for virtual environment. And I have no idea what's web services, static, or components. And yeah, we have indent size 4. I guess you use 2 when you work at Google. We use spaces, of course. We have max line length 120. This is a selling point. You should come to work for us. This is a freedom, right? So, max lines per file. I don't know. Yeah, we had quite a few files which were really big, and you didn't want to work with those kind of files. It was a mess, big headache. Yeah, file naming convention, snake. Yeah, camel case, go back to Java. Space, blah blah blah. Yeah, and here you can see these are the sections for bears itself. Like, if you will, yeah, this is a good example. This is a specific bear. It's called file name bear, and this overrides the setting set in the default section. Like you can see, here is the ignore, and here's the ignore redefined. So when this bear is running, it takes this ignore instead of the first one. So it's very logical. And so now, if you have the configure file, all you can do is to run koala, and it's done, because you already specified files, you have already specified all the bears which should be run, and also all the other options you want to use. So, and also, good thing is that you wanted to point at something.
Do these files have too many lines so that it ignores line count and max lines per file rule?
Yeah.
Line spy, like spy, these are 2 big files.
Yeah, because there was kind of old files. Everybody's scared to touch them, but they work. That's important. Yeah. So I wanted to tell you something and I forgot. Probably it doesn't matter. So let's move on. Back to presentation. Yeah. I told you you can create your own checker. This is really good stuff. So I want my own checker. I don't want to use some of which already exists because it doesn't fulfill my wishes. I need to create my own. And this was a very common problem in our code base. And yeah, the problem is not that there are missing lines. This is just I mean, the problem is somewhere between those 2 lines. Does anybody know what's wrong with this code? Anybody? I mean, this could run on Python 2, but it would fail on Python 3. And we are using Python 2. Sorry. So, what's the problem with that one? Nobody knows. Yeah, we didn't know either. What again?
Exception is Python 2. Print is like in Python 3.
What again?
The print is like for Python 3.
No, it doesn't. No, it works also in Python 2. The problem is in the past parameter. The function is called format exception. So what you will pass to the format exception? The exception itself, right? But it's wrong because it expects you to pass the integer, and the integer specifies like how many lines should be printed from the format exception. And it works in Python 2 because in Python 2 you can compare any object, but it will fail in Python 3 because the limit will be then assigned to none, and you can't compare none and an integer. Like none is not bigger and it is not less than integer, and it will fail. So it works for us, and it still does. I mean, we fixed it, but the problem is that many people use it, and that's the problem. Like you create a habit, right? And once you create a habit, you want to get rid of it. It's not enough just to fix the problem. You need to fix the habit. And to fix the habit, you will create your own checker in Koala, and you will push it into your continuous integration, and you will make sure that this thing will not happen again. So I will show you one kind of pair which I didn't write. It was written by my colleague. You have to know it, so somebody doesn't say that I wrote the pair. Okay, I have here example. Yeah, by the way, I'm using Vim, and in Vim I'm using the Python Vim AL, which is asynchronous linting within your Vim, whatever. And the funny thing is, if I would use it earlier, what of them? Yeah, it would show me. I don't know. Can you see? Yeah, at the bottom line. It even says that argument 1 to formal exception has incompatible type exception expected int. That's from a MyPy. So just to show you the code, and now I will have to, no, I will show you firstly. Yeah, I will show you the bear itself. Actually, the only lines that should be interesting for you, like all of this, besides that one line, like this line is really written by a programmer. Like all of the other lines are just syntactic sugar, maybe. I mean, it must be here, it must be there, but it's already like written in a tutorial how to write the checker. So only important stuff is the regex to find the bad line. And everything other is from the coala itself, from the API. And also, here is the diff change line. So you like specify like what to do when you encounter the problem, how to fix it, how to generate the patch. So, we will run now our own there. Do you remember how that was built? Because I don't. And that's bad. A minute of silence. Also need to specify directory for pairs and close values. How convenient. I hope this is going to work. Yeah. And you can see the line was like there was a patch proposed to fix the problem. So you apply the patch or click something else. Yeah. And I will show you. So you can trust me. Yeah, it's gone. Magic. Yeah, so. What again? Yeah, because the default it's probably 0, and when there's 0, it writes like all the lines. So yeah, should do this. Yeah, you want to use Koala right now, right? You've seen all the cool features. So what can you do? Yeah, you can use the old school installation and just install with pip, coala, and coala bears. And please use user when using pip and running on Linux. Don't never ever use sudo when installing pip. Who uses sudo? Somebody's. Why? Do you even have to ask? Do you use Linux? So what happens when you use sudo with pip? It will install into your like user lib, blah blah blah, whatever. And what happens is that you will override your system libraries. And many Linux distribution like really relies on Python packages. like they are like very important for the distro itself. And when you run sudo pip, some packager somewhere will like cry and die maybe, because you will then something went wrong, it will go wrong, and it will stop working, and then you will file bug like, oh, something is not working for me, why is it? And the programmer will tell you like, wait, did you use sudo pip? And you're like, yes, I did. I felt that. Fix it yourself. So you will install those stuff and you can run koala. Or yes, you can use koala in GitLab CI as a Docker image. It's very easy. This is like all of it. You don't need anything else. You just specify the koala image itself, and also you can run the Docker image on your computer if you're feeling very hipsterish. So, to summarize, very cool API, support for many languages, you can write your own checkers, it's very easy to deploy, and this is one tool. So, how to contribute? Get to koala.io and go to get involved. And you can meet like a lot of fantastic people. I mean, actually there is already maybe, I don't know, 400, maybe I'm making it up, but there is too many developers already working with koala. It's really cool project to start with open source, because they have really good ideas. I mean, they have easy bugs, how to like jump into the project, to get involved with how the contribution works in koala and stuff like that. So it's very easy, you should check it out. And I think I could show you the web page, because they have also really good web page. And I will need only one hand from that one. Okay, so this is the get involved. You can get your picture on that side, isn't that cool? I mean, that's a good motivation, right? To have your picture on the internet. Who doesn't? And there is also a guide to writing your native beer. And what's a good thing is you can try koala online. You can like type anything here. There's the terminal, and you can specify here like some bears you want to run, and then just go back. No, and then just you can run it. Warming up the beers. Yeah, it's working. So do you have any questions? This is, by the way, yeah, it was a great show.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a thank you for your presentation. I really like koala. I have one question. Why do you use Python 2? As I see here, you just need to write another beer.
Yeah, why do we use, I mean, we have really big code base, and it's like, I mean, if I could go back in space, what? You can say it in Russian language, and
can't you write another beer?
to fix my code.
Yeah.
Oh, if that would be so easy, right? Yeah, maybe in the koala 3000 something, maybe this will be the feature. Maybe you can propose it, you can implement it, you can get involved. It's your chance to shine. So, any other questions?
Thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
My question is, well, if you're using Koala to fix your code,
Yeah.
won't you become like kind of lazy and never use code styles again, because it does everything for you?
Well, it's kind of SafeNet. Like all of the linters are just a SafeNet. I mean, those are only statical analyzers. You still have to think for yourself, because it's really hard to check the dynamic languages, right? So it's just a statistical analysis, or I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. Yeah, so yes, you still have to think. Sorry. So, another question? There was one?
Yes, lots of them. Thank you so much for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Just for information, which IDE do you use? Do your developers use in Kiwi.com?
Yeah, well, mostly it's a PyCharm. I personally use Vim, but that's not IDE, it's editor, right?
Any other questions? Yes, please. Thank you for your presentation. Is it hard to embed Koala into PyCharm?
I think there is already a solution for that. I mean, I don't use PyCharm, but I was told that it is possible to use Koala in PyCharm. It is possible to use Koala in Vim. It is possible to use Koala in Emacs, and is it possible to use? It is possible to use Koala in Sublime. But actually, I'm not using it in Vim. I'm using. I mean, we're using it already in our continuous integration, and Koala takes like a really long time to start. So I wouldn't like that in my Vim. I mean, I use the AL, which can, like, as you type, it check your code. There is a problem with my L. I don't know, it's just a fun story. I hope you don't mind. The base, maximum number of processes on Mac is around 700. And it's really hard to change. I mean, you have to edit some file, blah, blah, whatever. And I had the problem, I was running my Vim, and suddenly my computer froze. Like, I couldn't start anything. And it was because I have too many processes running, and it was because of the plugin I'm using, the WimL, I told you earlier. It was like forking pylons. Like, they were running like 1,000 processes of pylons in my computer. I mean, it wasn't 1,000, it was like 500. It already reached the maximum number of processes, and I couldn't do anything. So I had to increase maximum number of processes on my computer, and I didn't have a time yet to investigate why is it running so many processes, so I don't know. That's a fun story, sorry.
So more questions, please. More questions, more questions, more questions. So no more questions. Okay, let's thanks again our amazing speaker. Thank you, Robert. So again, have some beers with Robert and ask him more about feeding koala bears. Now, Andre.